Welcome to Fitnosophy, build your body, realize yourself. I'm your host, Gaia Domenici. I have a PhD in philosophy, I'm a certified nutrition and health coach, and a personal trainer in the making. This is my podcast, where we'll be discussing how body, mind and spirit are all connected and how their balance defines our health. If you're passionate about training, nutrition and overall optimal performance, then you're in the right place. Here we are. Hi, Roland. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm really excited about having this conversation with you. So guys, if you don't know, Roland is he's a PT and he's a great motivator. He's someone who always posts super, also motivational posts on Instagram. And he's very much into goal setting, and he knows, he knows a lot about that. He's very knowledgeable, and he knows how to help clients achieve their goals. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, so your story, who you are, where you come from, and how you've become the amazing person you've become.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm Roland, Fit by Ro on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm a personal trainer in London. I've been doing it for 3 years now, but I've been in the fitness industry for about 8 years now. I've done a lot of roles, so I think I've got a broad understanding of, people entering the gym, the reasons why they enter the gym. I see people's progression through the gym I've seen it as a receptionist, fitness instructor, sales representative. I had to get to know people's reasons why for joining the gym. But I found that I was more interested in actually helping people train and achieve their goals. So I moved from sales and, that kind of side of the gym to becoming a personal trainer. I find it quite interesting how people have different, ways of thinking about what goal setting is. So it's an interesting topic that we're going to be talking about today. Originally, when I first got into personal training, it's similar to like anyone that does anything really. I didn't really have a certain goal in mind, so it affected how I worked and how I actually took my day-to-day regime. And it wasn't until I sat down, set proper goals, made them specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, that I actually started to see proper results with myself, with my work effort, with my clients. So goal setting is a really good topic for us to start on today.
Yeah, I love this. And so I love that you also mentioned the smart, setting of goals as well, which is important because as we'll see later in the podcast, it's important that, goals are phrased in a way that matters to whoever sets those goals. So they have to be relevant, they have to be specific, they have to be highly meaningful to the person, because something that's meaningful to me might not be meaningful to you. And even the same goal can be framed in different ways. So I might want to have a six-pack because I want to, compete in a show. Yeah. Whereas someone might want to have a six-pack because they want to, just look fit and maybe go on holiday and take some cool pictures. And some people need to lose weight for health reasons. Some people just want to lose weight for, being able to, wear, an old dress again or something, or maybe just to feel better, to be able to play with their kids. Or not to be out of breath after a walk, and so it's important that goals are set in what is called a smart way. So they have to be specific. So they have to be specific because you can't just say I want to.
Too general, and if it's too general, too broad, you're not going to have a direct aim. You'll be going left and right and not really making forward steps to where you're trying to achieve.
Like you can't just say I want to lose weight. Yes, how much exactly?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it has to be specific, but it also has to be measurable, because you need to be able to keep track of your progress and also to be accountable. So
Mm-hmm.
whether you succeed or you don't yet, but you still need to be accountable. So you need to see how
Exactly.
far you've come and how far you're still away from your goal. So and they have to be
Realistic. They have to be realistic.
realistic. Yes, yeah,
Like if
absolutely.
you're someone that is, an office worker, you're busy doing your work, but your goal is to become, I don't know, like an Olympic champion next week or next year,
Exactly.
it's not really realistic. You need to have goals that are realistic, achievable. Once you've achieved your goals, even your long-term goals, you can reevaluate and progress onwards, but definitely have to be realistic. Definitely.
Yeah, and you mentioned long-term goal because another important part is the time frame setting of a goal. So every goal has to be set in a specific time frame
Time frame.
for it to become attainable, because
Yeah.
and also to be measurable, because I can say I don't know, I want to become an Olympic champion. Yeah, when? By
Exactly. If
when?
you put no time, you have a risk of basically always putting it off, never really putting hard work because, for example, like you said, for example, someone says, I want to have a six pack. Okay, by when? That time frame needs to be realistic, but also you need to have it in place so that you have something to drive for. If it's in 10 years, your work ethic and work rate is going to be too slow and too minimal for you to actually achieve that. If
Yeah,
it's too close, it's unrealistic and it's not going to work.
yeah, you'll
So
burn out before. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So me personally, I train people in way of, I try to help them improve their lifestyle. So I'm not really someone that wants to, completely drastically change someone's life and say, look, I want you to never eat junk food, never drink this and never eat that, because that's not realistic. We're human, especially if someone is not into fitness as much as me and you may be.
Yeah.
Telling them to cut things out completely to achieve something that they already may not believe they can do is going to be difficult.
Yeah,
So when I
I
work with
agree.
my beginners,
Yeah.
pardon?
No, I said I agree. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
go ahead. Yeah.
when I work with my beginners, especially when I like working with people that are new to the gym, because I like to ease them in with confidence, and setting those goals allows them to realize that, okay, this is achievable. This space isn't too, scary. What I want to achieve isn't impossible. And if they have that from the beginning, they understand it sooner, they will probably last longer in a fitness journey and a health journey, and just go on to be just good, healthy people, just training regularly.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're touching upon some of the good points that we're gonna also cover in a sec, because I wanted to share some articles that I looked at today. And basically the points you're touching on are the motivation, because so adherence to a certain program based on motivation. So how much you're gonna last in that program might depend, or I would say depends on how motivated you are.
Yeah.
And then goal settings and goal, so breaking down long-term goals into short-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
So, and let's start from these articles. So these are the most interesting articles I was able to find, even though the population of these studies is not very general, it's quite specific. So they might not be, super accurate, but that's
But I think
interesting.
still transferable to most people.
Exactly, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Yeah, it seems kind of I mean, yeah, according to basic, common sense, it just
Yeah.
makes sense, thinking
Yeah.
in this kind of way. So one was on immediate rewards as a predict factor for adherence to long-term goals. So
Yeah.
basically, in this study they observed there were two groups, and they saw how people with long-term goals, um, sorry, so basically when people with immediate rewards, they might stay in the program for a longer time, So they observed like the New Year's resolution, and which is fun, but it makes sense because it's possibly the best example of a goal. And yeah, so basically when you get an immediate reward, doesn't have to be the full, you know, the ultimate end of the goal, but can be something
something to keep you going, like a top up.
Exactly, yeah, like a top up. Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're
like,
going on a long journey, you're gonna have like a full tank, but if you're running low, you might think, okay, I may not have another stop on the way, let me just top up a little bit and just keep going, and that gives your car the fuel to just keep on that long journey ahead. Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect example to describe it. And okay, so this was this study wasn't a controlled study. Sorry, this was a meta-analysis. So which is even better in this case because they basically isolated. They analyzed all the studies that were done on the subject, and that's the conclusion they reached. So it's even more interesting that the control studies we're gonna mention in a sec, because that's more that takes into account a broader spectrum of research. So, but there are two trial studies, which are the ones I was referring to before, with the small population. But that, as we said, that's okay because they might still be telling the truth in a sense. They might still be reflecting possible situation. So, and one was goal-setting protocol in adherence to exercise by Italian adults. So very specific population, but that's interesting.
Still people though, still people. So again, relatable. Exactly, relatable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they just mentioned the word Italian because that's where the study was done. So maybe.
Just so people are understanding, because that's the thing. Italy would have, you know, certain cultures and, you know, behaviors and, you know, kind of like lifestyle. So mention it's probably going to have its own kind of value as well.
Yeah, you should maybe compare this against another one with a different ethnicity, but I don't think it would be that relevant, because possibly what might make the difference is the motivator, so what gives people motivation, but then the result per se, I don't think it would change. So basically one group was given goal setting and another one wasn't. So obviously the goal setting group had a better adherence than the control group. So that was predictable, but that's still important that, you know, that the outcome of
the findings, the
findings were still helpful for this discussion. And this is, in my opinion, the most interesting one. It's on how important motivation is for a program to last. So not just immediate rewards, but also goal setting protocols and motivation. So as you said, it's important to give people a constant top up. So you reach, so you've got like this super big goal, you break it down into smaller ones, and then you go, and as you go, you give people some sort of
some sort of they get like an emotional boost, and they get some confidence and motivation to see that they've achieved something especially in a world that they're not accustomed to. If there's someone that's new to fitness, they're thinking, what can I really achieve? If you're questioning yourself, whether you're realizing it or not. But as soon as you know, 2 weeks in or a month in, your goal is to just run 5 minutes with less effort, or do 10 push-ups with more control. As soon as you do that, you're like, okay, cool, I can see progress. You identify the small progressions that you can build into this great big thing. Whereas if you ignore all of this and you just think about that long-term goal and you look at where you are physically or fitness-wise, it's going to be demotivating. Eventually, you're going to run out of gas.
Yeah, because there will be no way for you to track your progress, because you will still see the fat, I don't know, on your waist or on your I don't know, lower, you know, body, or and you want to see the progress that you've made so far instead. And another thing that I found interesting in this study is the intrinsic motivation part, because there are also other studies that I didn't cite today, but which still show how intrinsic motivation is more can predict a better outcome than extrinsic motivation. So the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation is that intrinsic motivation exactly comes from within, whereas extrinsic motivation comes from maybe easy to achieve rewards, like if I eat less calories today, I'll be able to have a cookie for dinner. But that's not enough to really drive you towards your goal. And so that I think brings us back to the point that we made earlier about the importance of a goal being meaningful. I lost you. Okay, you're back.
Sorry.
That's okay. Sorry. So about the importance of a goal being meaningful to the person who sets the goal, because if it's meaningful, I'll be more likely to have intrinsic motivation. And
I covered this in I covered this in one of my posts as well, that when obviously motivation is a good way to start, it gets you excited, it gets you wanting to begin, but eventually, sooner rather than later, you need to find a internal reason for wanting to continue and push yourself. So when I think to myself, okay, find a deeper meaning, you need to find, why is it you want to achieve this weight loss, or why is it you want to achieve this strength gain, or whatever? Find this deeper meaning. So is it so that you can live your day-to-day life better? Is it so that you can live longer? Is it so that you can just enjoy life or move better? Whatever that deeper meaning is, even if you feel like there isn't a deeper meaning, if you can relate that to a deeper meaning, you'll be able to, maintain and last for much longer and push a lot harder compared to, I want to look good in a t-shirt. Because when it doesn't take 2 weeks, you'll be like, you know what, it's not a big deal, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love this. And how do you motivate your clients to find in this, higher, deeper meaning? Because it's not, as a coach, I find it quite hard sometimes, because people don't really see that. I think, it's something that's still there, but they don't know how to reach them. So how do you do with your clients?
I've found the best way is, obviously, when you're training your clients regularly, it's easier to do it with someone that you speak to often. But with your clients, I think when you speak to them and you find out what's important to them, so if someone's really family orientated, you can relate it straight away to, if you're healthier, you're going to set a good example for your family. Who doesn't? Anyone that cares about their family wants them to live longer, happier, healthier. So immediately you can relate to that. If somebody finds, they're really into fashion, you say, okay, you could look better in clothes, you can wear more options, whatever it may be, whether it may not be as, don't want to use shallow, but it may not be as deep as family. But when you fully understand your client and you see what's important to them, if they're really into, I don't know, anything really, just find what's important to them. And most of the time you'll be able to relate it to, fitness. Even if they're really into food, if someone's a chef or they're a food critic, they have to be into looking after their body, keeping healthy, because obviously your job is to taste and eat and do this. So you don't want your job to affect your health. So again, you can relate it. Okay, let's go. Let's try and eat. Let's try and train correctly so that we can live a longer, stronger life.
And how long would you think, it takes to establish this kind of rapport with your client before he or she finds what really motivates them? Like, because some people are more self-aware, and it might take them, shorter time. Some people are more, no, I wouldn't say superficial or shallow, but they're not really in tune with their own maybe deeper self,
like deeper side. But I think, again, like I said, with some people, they don't, like some people, like you said, like not in an offensive way, but they're very superficial, so they may not let on their deeper cares and wants in life. But I think with most people, if you speak to them long enough and for me personally, what I do when I train with people, I like to break the ice. So I'm jokey, I'm relaxing, I can even make a fool of myself, these kind of things. So they're so relaxed with me that they don't realize they're opening up. They don't realize that they've been speaking to me about, okay, this is happening at work or at home or with friends or with family. And you begin to understand that, okay, look, there's a friendship building here within this PT relationship that I'm willing to open up enough about, my cares and my dislikes or likes kind of thing. So I think with enough time, if you pay attention to small things, you can find people's motivation for training, definitely.
Yeah, I love this, and I think as a coach, what you do is basically so without telling your clients, without imposing your clients, but you're trying to pick those small cues all the time, like that, like those tiny dots that can be all linked together to create the bigger picture. But then it's the client that has to draw the whole
exactly
picture.
You can only show them. They have to actually stop.
Show them. And yes, no, I like this idea. And let's talk about steps for someone. Say we had this ideal client who's never been in a gym, but they apparently they've heard somewhere that training is good for your health, and that they feel this kind of pressure to get back in shape. So how would you break this down? How would you break this whole process down to make this person feel more motivated to stick to the goal, and also to create goals and to
I think for any beginner starting exercise, because obviously as a personal trainer I meet most people in the gym, but if anyone is beginning exercise, I'll ask them two things. First, what is it you're trying to achieve? Just a general, even if they know a general reason why. And once they identify what is they're trying to achieve, then they need to understand why is it they want to achieve that. So if someone says, oh, I want to get into the gym because I want to get fit. Okay, you want to get fit. That's what you want to achieve. Why? Oh, because people tell me it's good for me. If you're doing it for other people's reasons, it's a lot harder to make someone even set goals. You can give them the perfect goals plan. It's going to be difficult. But I think if someone's identified that they want to, I don't know, they just want to be more active in their lifestyle, I would recommend finding something you enjoy. As soon as you find something you enjoy, whether it's gym, dancing, Zumba, whatever it may be, you'll be able to last for a lot longer, and then you can set specific goals. Okay, I found something I enjoy that's going to help me achieve my goal, which is be more active. Once you've done that, then you can be more specific. Okay, I'm being more active. I want to lose weight. Now let's be specific. I want to lose 10 kilos. Cool. I can measure that with scales, body fat, etc. Then you can be time frame. Okay, I'm going to give myself a year to do this. So a year of exercise and nutrition, that's what you're doing. So in that way, they don't realize that having fun doing what they're doing is, being driven, specific, goal setting. They're kind of just like, okay, this is just natural. They're flowing with it kind of thing. So if someone comes to the gym now and they don't really know what they're doing, I'll say, okay, cool. Again, what is it you're trying to achieve? Then we find out their why, just their basic general why. Then I say to them, let's dig a bit deeper. What are the reasons why you want to achieve this? Is it just because people tell me to, or they said on the news that obesity is high? It's not really enough.
It's not
if
enough,
it's external. Yeah, it's not really enough. So I definitely, for beginners, just two things just to wrap that up is, what is it you're trying to achieve? Just a general reason of what, and then why. Is it your why or somebody else's why?
And so, I read something, I can't remember in which book, but it was a coaching, kind of book. And they said, never ask why, always ask what, which is the same question, but you can just replace, why with how and what. So like, not why do you want to do this, but what makes you want to do this, which is exactly the same. But apparently people feel less analyzed when you don't, because when you ask why, they feel a lot of pressure because they feel like they have to provide answers. But if you just ask them, okay, what makes you do that? Or how would you do that? They
Mm-hmm.
don't feel the pressure, you know, to
It's not like you're attacking them, even
it's
though
not
it's
like
not a deliberate attack.
yes,
Yes, yes,
that's
that's a good idea, actually. That's a
and
really good idea.
but for some people, you know, I think it also depends on the client, because some people actually prefer being more direct, and
Yeah,
they prefer when you address them, you know, in a more
yeah,
direct way. I
yeah.
found that with some client, if I adopted a broader approach, they wouldn't really, you know, they might miss
Take
the point. Yeah, because they
it.
wouldn't really see what I wanted to say. So I had to be a little bit more direct and more like, you know, straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be, you know, totally cool. They would just you know, go straight to the point. With some other clients, you might want to, you know,
Be,
step a little bit
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think that comes with experience as a trainer, to analyze the person that is sitting in front of you, like not in a judgmental way, but when they're sitting with you in a consultation or they approach you in a gym, you have to look at so many things so quickly. Okay, do they come with me with confidence? Are they coming with me with a bit of shyness and timidness? So if someone comes to me very shy, a bit timid, they're asking me questions like, "Oh, so excuse me," I'm thinking, okay, this person is taking a lot of confidence to try and ask me this question. I'm not going to be too direct. I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. Okay, I understand. What is it? What else would you like to find out? And I let them tell me what they want to know, or how they want to get into it, and then ease into it that way. Whereas if somebody comes to me with confidence, "Sorry, Roland, I need help with such and such and such," I know that they're so direct with what they want. Even if it's broad, I can narrow it down and say, okay, this is too broad. Let's break it down. Let's do this, 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 this. And I say, okay, cool. That makes sense. Let's take it further. So I think initially the way somebody approaches you and how they ask the question of how they want help or if they need help is going to definitely help how you approach the goal
Yeah,
setting.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I think if you're a good coach and a good reader, you might, you
Mm-hmm.
know, understand people's mind, and then change also your coaching accordingly. Like not too much, because your coaching style is always kind of the same, but as you said, you
Yeah,
can adapt it to the client. So yeah,
yeah,
that's very good. And there are a lot of people who just, you know, they said, okay, training is good for health, but they don't really mean it. You know,
yeah,
it's something that they've just heard around, and they want to train, but so that they can't really find motivation.
yeah,
And so on the one hand, you want to help them because you know that, you know, training would be beneficial for them, but then on the other hand, you need to leave them find their own motivation. So what kind of
yeah.
so how do you cope with that? And what kind of advice would you give to someone who knows that, you know, training is healthy, but they don't really know why?
Yeah. I think in that situation, I feel like you have to understand as a coach that not everyone is ready to be coached. Some people, they need a bit of time. Like you can help them. Yes, some people you can coach them into being coachable. Some people are not coachable. Some people, they feel like, okay, if I have a coach, that's it, I'm good. But some people need to be ready for the fact that, okay, when I'm approaching this coach or when this coach is approaching me, I need to be in a mindset for actually doing what I'm doing, not just kind of doing, the motion and just coming in and whatever it is, just kind of being a ghost in the exercise or in the training. So if I see someone that is very vague in what they want or not really understanding what it is they're trying to achieve or why they want to exercise, I just try to educate them. Like, okay, I ask them, what do you know about training? What is your past of training? What have you done? Have you trained before? Did you enjoy that? Was it fun, or was it something you had to do for school or whatever it was? And then I try to relate it to something that most people would understand. Like, okay, we'll understand that being slightly overweight or even extremely overweight can be dangerous. Then you have that, not in a bad way, that fear factor of, okay, I don't want to be too dangerously overweight. They can then maybe take an internal look and see, where am I in the position in relation to what he's telling me? Okay, I'm close to what he's telling me. I'm here or I'm there. Okay, I'm not too close to that. Then you can tell them in terms of like, even just day-to-day things like walking up the stairs. Do you get out of breath walking up the escalator? If you're annoyed by that, we can work on these things. Even if it's minor things, most of the time, if you speak to someone, you can find a reason why they might want to better understand why they're training compared to just I'm doing it because I'm doing it. People like that are very difficult to coach, very difficult to keep, even if you set out good goals for them to just be disciplined and dedicated, even very loosely, because there's not really any understanding as to why they're doing it.
Yeah. And also, I think it's some people just don't want to take ownership, of their progress or even of their decisions, because some people might, go to you asking for advice, but then they don't really want to take that advice because maybe they're not ready. They might not be ready for change. So, and again, that they're not motivated, so they're not ready. They don't want to take responsibility because they're not motivated, so they don't want to even invest energy in that.
Yeah.
And that can be a waste of time, maybe for you and for them, even though I think it's beneficial, because I know that the first step is always raising awareness in the client, even if they're not ready, for the change, but they're still, once you raise awareness, the idea
they're a step closer.
Yeah, they're a step closer. And then maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe in 3 months they'll be a little bit more ready. And so it's never a full waste of time or energy, but can be discouraging sometimes, both for you or for the client. And but again, I don't think there's really anything that you can do in that case other than maybe keeping raising awareness.
All you can do in this situation is just do your best, have the conversation with them. Again, like you said, like raise their awareness, because if somebody's not ready to be coached, if someone's not ready to make the change in their life, it's not ultimately it's not going to happen. There's stages to it. People need to first identify that there's an issue, regardless of how big that issue is. They need to know the issue exists. If they don't think there's an issue there's not going to be any action. So definitely identifying that, okay, cool, there's a slight issue or a major issue, then they might take steps. Next time they see you in a gym or look online, start doing research, they will say, okay, cool, what are the next steps to, start training?
And also another possible scenario is when people relapse and then they feel guilty and might decide to give up, training completely. And but again, it might be due to a lack of motivation in the first place, because maybe the goal wasn't really their goal. So maybe they achieved that goal, but it was never meant to be, the meaningful goal of their life. So they might have relapsed because they didn't want to stick to the plan anymore. And also just because we're humans, I guess. So, we all make mistakes and we all lose motivation, because I can be super driven today, but then something, external might happen and I might lose most of my motivation. And so how many? I mean, has it ever happened to your clients?
I think with most people it can happen, whether it's minor or major. I think anyone, even myself, you may have long-term goals, and then you may even have your minor goals that you've set out. You will have times where you may relapse, you may miss the mark. But I think what you need to remind yourself is that, okay, the long-term goal isn't completely sabotage. It's just, you just maybe have to just sit down, reevaluate, okay, why is the reason you failed to reach this mark, or why did you relapse? So when you kind of take it away from, oh, you are the failure, and you take it back to, okay, let's analyze the whole situation. Is it the training? Is it the lifestyle? Is it stress? Is it this or that? They feel a bit more or less like they're to blame. They can look at all the different factors, and when they're looking at the factors on the table, it's more manageable. Easier for them to say, okay, no, he's right. Cool. Maybe I missed it because I'm overthinking about my work project, or I'm overthinking because of family stress. Once they can identify this and, okay, maybe put a little pause on their current training or their current goal, just keep going in the motion, focus on whatever the issue is, if it's something that just needs to be dealt with. Once that's kind of, worked over, carry on, resume, reevaluate, and then continue. So definitely just take away the blame from the person. Like, obviously people need to take responsibility, but once you can just break down the blame, it's easier for them to just continue.
Yeah, that's an excellent piece of advice, because some people think that it's all their fault, and they did it all wrong, and they don't really see all the factors and the many factors that actually interplay in this whole situation. And this is not to say that they don't have any responsibility at
Of
all,
course.
but it might help someone feel a little bit less I don't know, maybe heavy, or like sometimes
It's like a pat on the back, like, it's okay, look,
it's like a
it didn't
burden,
work.
like, yeah.
Yeah, the plan is like ideal. It's like, if everything was perfect, this is the plan. But most things in life, even if you're doing a business or even baking a cake, you might have a plan of what you want to do, but the cake comes out sunk in the middle. It doesn't mean that it's not an edible cake, or it's whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
a
you
good method.
definitely, yeah, you definitely have to just do that. But I think with some people, the issue can be is I've had people that I've met, even trained, that put the blame on the trainer. I didn't lose weight because you didn't help me enough. But if you give them nutritional advice, you give them the training to do on their own, and you train them, but the weight hasn't been lost, ultimately it's about the nutritional balance. Obviously, you can find, as a trainer, you still need to try in many ways to try and coach this person, but you can only take them to the water. They have to take action.
Yes.
If
exactly.
I could train for people in the gym and then they take the body, I would start a business like that. Train for them and then they can take the body. But ultimately, no matter how good of a coach you are, the person must be coachable.
Yeah,
they must
exactly.
be coachable.
But that's also what makes coaching successful, because once you help people find what really motivates and drives them towards their goal, then the goal is achieved, as opposed to prescribing something, saying like, even you said, okay, if I train for them, but I think even on a more doable level, you can just prescribe them exactly what to do, like from when they wake up to when they go to bed. It's not gonna work, because they most likely will achieve the goal within, say, maybe 2 or 3 months, but then they lose it, because they will they won't have come from within, from themselves. So I think the hardest part is precisely to find what works for those people, so that they can find their own path, their own way to do it, and to make it successful.
Definitely. No, you're right with that, because like you said, everybody knows, regardless of what your goals are, if it's your body, everybody knows it's about exercise and it's about nutrition. Obviously, for different goals, the exercise and nutrition will be slightly different. But as a coach, our job is to mold them, help them, push them in the right direction, pick them up when they're down. But if someone is not willing to allow you to do these things, like, you give them the motivation, you try to give them the coaching. If they don't accept these things, even if, like you said, you give them, eat this, do this, eat this, do this, they're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. Yeah, no, they're not. Yeah. And as you were saying at the beginning of the podcast, even like, you can't be too drastic. You can't change people's lives and habits too much, because like obviously, I think everyone agrees that like the best possible diet would be, as close as possible to a paleo diet. But that's, not sustainable.
It's too drastic of a change for most
people.
It's
too drastic, exactly. Like it will give you, it will surely give you a long, lifespan. Like that's most, that's probably the most, the diet that gives you the most, possibility for longevity. But that doesn't mean that it's the most, that it's the best diet, because it's a matter of balance. So if my client wants to go out and have a pizza with their friends, they have to to feel the freedom to do that. They feel like like something like a lot of pressure,
like they're caged in. Exactly.
And then they won't stick to the goal ultimately, and they'll be like, what, screw this diet, because that's not sustainable for them in the long term. So but I did the podcast with Taylor Thompson, and it was the episode number 1, and we touched on this point as well. For some people, what works is like 90-10. For some people, who are very into, say, a healthy lifestyle, So they stick to their diet like 90% of the time, and then they can take like 10% off. For some people, an 80-20 approach works better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even like a 60-40 or 70-30 might be extremely beneficial for maybe the
As long as the
majority of
majority of
people.
your diet is good and you're
Exactly.
training regularly, you should see some benefit. You should see
Yeah.
some progress. Definitely.
But some people, I don't know why. I had a client who wanted to cut back on sugar, which is great, like obviously. But then, you become obsessed with that, and you're trying to,
Yeah.
that's not the point, like you should never be too drastic, with anything. It's
I think
very good that, like, I mean, I celebrate all these small changes that
exactly.
people want to make, but again, they have to be small changes. You don't need to completely forget about sugar, for the rest of
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah. Because we're human, we've already learned about these things. The thing is about the modern day now is we have so many things accessible to us that are like fast food, junk food, this and that. So unless you are completely dedicated to whatever it is, it's hard to ignore all of these cravings. It's even for myself, like I love loads of different type of foods, but as a fitness person, we can kind of have more of a mental strength of, okay, I'm going to ignore this for now, especially when you're giving yourself a period of focus. But this is why I say to people, it's more about lifestyle, make small lifestyle changes over time, because you can change a lot in a year slowly compared to trying to change everything in 1 month.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
not going to work.
Yeah.
It's really not going to work.
And I think, again, it's about motivation, because as you said, we're in the fitness industry, so we're more driven towards a balanced lifestyle. And but that's because we're more maybe motivated by something else, like by,
Yeah.
an ideal of overall health and longevity, which we have, internalized throughout the years. And that's something that we believe in, and we like
Yeah.
feel it. But
Yeah.
for some people, that's not, what life is all about. And
Yeah.
so I don't think it would make any sense for them to, eat clean, 24/7.
Most of the time. Yeah.
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 Obviously, I mean, I would be the happiest person, on this planet if everyone, was following a super, clean diet. But
Yeah.
that's not realistic. Like, that's something that
Yeah.
will never happen. So
Yeah.
people should be able to not feel guilty for it. They should not, they should be able to enjoy a slice of cake or a pizza or I
What I
don't
try
know.
to tell people is like, just try to have, sometimes with balance, people misunderstand balance. They think, okay, I have one good meal, one bad meal, one good meal, one bad meal. Like, obviously there's no bad food, but in terms of the way they're
I
balancing
know
it
it.
out.
Yeah.
But what I try to say to people is the same way you brush your teeth, you shower, you wash your clothes, you clean your car. These things are like maintenance. You do these things to maintain your teeth, to maintain your body, your care, your clothes. So the same way you maintain everything on the outside, the inside, nutrition-wise and fitness-wise, in terms of cardiovascular, muscular fitness, you need to do these things, even just a small amount, just to maintain a certain amount of, performance or a certain amount of health, just so that you can keep functioning. So when people view it this way, because some people, they love eating pizza 3-4 times a week. I'm not that person, but some people want to eat
Some
it
people do.
constantly.
Yeah.
So if you're this person that likes to eat pizza a lot of the time, just try and think of some balance where you can, okay, if I eat this much, I need to make sure I'm counteracting it with some sort of training, running, exercise, cycling, those kind of things. So you can at least try to counteract your energy balance that you're doing.
And also you can provide healthier alternatives. Like, okay, you want to have pizza 4 times a week, you can have it maybe twice, and then you can replace, like, you can make the same sauce, you can use the same cheese, but maybe use, I don't know, some veggies instead of the dough as a base. Like, I sometimes I make a butternut squash lasagna. So it's like a lasagna dish, but instead of, pasta, I use the butternut
Butternut
squash.
squash. Yeah.
And it
I've
tastes
done
great.
something
Yeah.
similar.
That, I mean, it's something, I don't say that no one should, eat pasta or, actual lasagna. But if you want to be eating clean, even for one day, there are options, there are alternatives.
Yeah, of course.
And and the same for, if a lot of people are into baking, that's good. Like, do it. Just be aware that you can make some changes, so you can bake your cake, like the normal cake, once a week. If you want to bake more, maybe you can replace some of the ingredients with some
Lower
better.
calorie alternatives. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I always try to preach this. Like, if you're making something, if you have a recipe you normally make, look at the ingredients and see if there's a lower calorie alternative, just to bring the overall calories down.
Yeah.
So if there's like a low calorie, I don't know, icing sugar, or low calorie cream, go for the low fat cream instead of the full fat cream. Not saying that there's anything wrong with fat, but for that particular meal you're
If the
making,
person
just to
wants
bring,
to lose weight, yeah, I know what
yeah,
you mean.
just to bring things down. So you can always, like ice cream, I always buy ice cream with the low calorie, the tub. So one is a small tub, so the portion is smaller, and two, the overall calories is lower. So if I eat some, I know I'm still enjoying ice cream. My brain doesn't know any different, but I'm consuming a lot less calories.
Yeah,
For that
because
same treat.
I think this works for people who really want to lose weight. Because me, I'm more into, like whole foods, so I always go for the full fat, alternative. But because I only have, like a treat once in a while, like once every 2-3 months. So I'd rather stick to the,
The full
traditional,
fat,
just for health perspective. But if of course, if I'm coaching clients and that's something that they want to do regularly, I would say the same. I would say go for if you really, want to have your ice cream, go for the low calorie version. If you really want to have cream every, I don't know, couple of days, and that would just be extra calories, then go for the, the low calorie version. Because your goal is to lose weight. Then, if you reach the point when you're in perfect balance and perfect health, then you can you can have the low, like the full fat, or full calorie version.
Definitely. Once you're in a position where you feel like you've achieved your goal, how you eat is going to be different to someone that's trying to lose weight. Exactly. You're in a maintenance. It's a lot different.
It's a lot different. And also, I think the mindset is different, because you don't I think you build a better, maybe healthier relationship with food as well, because you consider food as your fuel, so you don't fear, you're not afraid of food anymore.
Yes.
And so I think you can also say, okay, I can have the actual ice cream, because I know that I'm not gonna bounce back. It's not like when you're dieting and you feel this kind of threatening relationship with food, and
exactly.
It's a different completely different relationship with food. So you know that you can do that. You've already achieved a position where you can have actual ice cream, because that's gonna be just that one time, and then that's it, and you go back to
it's a much healthier relationship. Definitely.
Yeah, but obviously when you start, that's something that you achieve at the end of a journey, and not like when you start with your journey. Because if you tell your client, go, if you feel like an ice cream, go and have the ice cream,
they take that and they run. They take it and they run. They honestly, they will just. So I'm careful exactly with what I say as well. So definitely with the goals, I try to say, okay, cool. For now, let's try to avoid certain things. Let's try to reduce certain things. And I know in my mind that there's going to be times where they're going to have a bit, but that's why I don't mention it. Once you mention, they're going to go from that bit to that much more.
That's so true. That's something that happens all the time. And again, there's nothing wrong, because I guess it's part of the process, and we've all been there. I mean, I've been training for 13 years. I started when I was 20, but I grew up in the sports, so I've always been active. But I never really ate clean, because I don't know, maybe I didn't have all the knowledge until I.
But when you're younger, I feel like when we all start in school playing sports, it's like we're kids,
you
so
can
we eat kids' food,
afford,
but we burn calories. One, because we're a kid, and two, because we're doing sports. So I remember going to do athletics and coming back to eat chicken and chips and pizza and go home and eat again straight within an hour. But now I cannot imagine eating 2 meals within an hour, because I know what that's going to do to my calories.
I couldn't even digest maybe 2 meals in 1 hour, unless I'm trained. I don't know. But then I remember I started to really, eat clean when I was around 17, 18. And then when I started to, to train regularly at 20. then I became, super, but super focused on my nutrition. But I guess that was because that was my intrinsic motivation that was driven me. So it wasn't just it wasn't about aesthetics. It wasn't just about achieving a goal.
It was more about like, let me do this properly.
Yeah, precisely. So for me, and it's been a long journey anyway, because initially I was eating a standard diet. I was pescatarian, but I was eating like a standard diet. And I didn't know I was intolerant to a lot of things because I was still young, as you said. So many things, that they didn't show at the time. And then I slowly started, developing a lot of food intolerances.
Really?
And so, and then I experimented with a lot of diets. I went vegan for 5 years, and then I gave up on all of that. And but mostly for ethical reasons, not just for health reasons. Even though my health was pretty wrecked and compromised at the very end of my veganism. So, and then I went back to eating meat after 15 years. And
how was the first meal with meat again? It was probably like strange, not even enjoyable.
It felt strange in my mouth because it felt so tough. Because when you're vegan, you don't chew your food, because even tofu or tempeh are quite soft, so you don't need to chew. Which is also why my digestion was so bad, because I didn't have any enzymes anymore in my saliva, I guess.
Really?
Because when you start breaking food down in your mouth,
the enzymes develop.
Exactly. But if it takes you only like 2 seconds and then you chew it, you swallow it down, you don't have even time to to build those enzymes. So my digestion was much worse as a vegan than it is obviously now as an omnivore. And the meat tasted so, I don't know, I could taste the iron in the blood. It was so like strong. And I was never into meat. Even as a child, I was never into that kind of taste. Now I love meat. I think that's because my health suffered.
You took so much.
Now I just need it, and I love it. But it tasted really weird the first time. And
that's to be expected.
That's to be expected. But I mean, the point, I guess the point is that when you start, it's a journey. So you start and you experiment with what works.
Exactly. That's definitely what we need to, as coaches, we need to try and explain to people that you have a journey. I remember I've been training for not as long as you have, but I remember when I first started training to now, how I look at food and how I think about food. It's a process, and everyone has to go through this process. Like, there's very few people that are into fitness or nutrition that started off eating like perfect or eating very good most of the time or 80% of the time. Most of us, like, I was drinking and training. I used to think, why am I not losing body fat? But I realized drinking alcohol every weekend. So now I don't really drink. Now that's my personal choice. But when you realize, okay, cool, you can understand what different foods have an effect on your health and your fitness and your nutrition. Like, you've experimented. I've experimented a little bit as well, not as long as you have. But I've tried to cut things out and try different meals and different foods and different type of eating methods. And you learn a lot about yourself when you do that. Same with training.
Exactly. And I encourage clients to do the same, to experiment, with themselves. So what kind of lifestyles have you experimented with?
I tried veganism, not for 5 years. I tried to be vegan.
Good for you.
Not for 5 years.
Yeah, good for you.
I done it for a few months, literally for a few months, because I just wanted to see how it would really affect my energy and my strength and like just my general health. So I did it for a few months because I wanted to see if it would actually affect my strength in the gym. And to be honest, it didn't really affect my strength at all. Because as long as you're getting the calories in, you have the energy to kind of train and push yourself the same.
I mean, a lot of ex-vegans agree on this point. The problem is when it becomes a long-term lifestyle, because I agree with you. If it's for a short time, say a few months, even a couple of years, as long as you get all the calories, that's fine. You actually can make gains. The problem arises when you start, being vegan for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, because the micronutrients are not there
It's lacking.
anymore.
Yeah.
Because your absorption rate of or conversion rate of most macronutrients might be slow. Not for everyone. There might be people who do well, and I'm not saying that everyone does bad on vegan diet, but for the majority of people, unfortunately, even like vitamin A, like the conversion from beta carotene from the provitamin A found in carrots, or or the orange.
You don't take them in as much. Even lacking in B12 when you're taking from meat and stuff
B12
like
is,
that.
that's the most maybe evident example. And again, taurine lacks, and zinc is very low. There are so many micronutrients that miss. And also I've always been a fan of a high volume training. And I found it so hard, to recover as a vegan in the last couple of years of my vegan journey. And
I think because I didn't do it for so long, I didn't see such effects. For a few months was just more to see like energy level and a bit of strength. But for you, if you're doing it for 5 years, people that have been doing it for 10, 15 years, you would definitely be able to see more, like especially the difference, especially because you've trained for so long as well. So you
could see the difference. But again, when I went vegan, I hadn't been training for a couple of years because like sometimes I was still training, but not the same way. I was doing mostly home workouts, body weight, like HIIT, because I had just so basically I moved to the UK in 2013, and I couldn't train, and I couldn't join gym at the time, so I ended up working at home most of the time. And so when I went vegan the year after, and then I went back to the gym a couple of years later. So I started again, as a vegan. So initially I still had, muscle memories from my previous training. So I could only see improvements and gains, for the first couple of years again. But then once I reached my, my threshold, like my maximum, I started just declining. And but that's interesting because as I reintroduced meat, I saw massive changes. When you're an advanced lifter, you're not expected to really make any gains anymore.
Big jumps,
But I could, and I guess it was because my muscle, hadn't, the possibility of fully recover on a vegan diet, so fully grow as well. So once you get back to meat, I think the body's like, yes, finally, and then you can still make gains.
Especially I think with weight training, like the damage that you're doing with the weights to the muscles, I think the recovery is a lot harder compared to like if you're doing not as hard resistance on your muscles.
Especially like high volume or even high intensity, if it's really high intensity. The problem with high intensity is that some people think they do high intensity, but it's not high intensity training. But
there's actually a specific way to do it.
Exactly. But I mean, if they do it the proper way, I think that's when you really see the problem, like the issues arising from nutrition. But again, I mean, if a client wants to be vegan, I would encourage them to to be vegan. Like if it's what they really want, also to make some changes in life. I could never tell anyone don't do this. Just because
at the end of the day, it's people's choice. So I always try to advise before, especially with diet, because I'm not nutritionally specialized. I always say speak to a nutrition specialist before drastically changing your diet. So if you're going to cut something out like meat completely or anything completely, speak to a nutrition or dietitian so that you can have a proper explanation of what this is going to do to your body. Because people make the decision based off social media and fads and trends okay, I see this girl or this guy, he looks good or she looks good, they're vegan. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know how they're doing it. So if you're going to make those kind of decisions, you need to know why you're making it. Same like setting goals, why you're making this decision, how long you're going to do it for, how long you're going to try it for, and how you're going to see if it's actually making a benefit or not. Because it's okay to just change your diet, but are you going to check if it's working? Are you going to check if it's improving or, making anything worse? So you definitely need to, again, track.
Yeah, and I also love that you mentioned the social media part, because it's something that we didn't talk about, but it probably makes a huge impact on even motivating people, because some people, they just see pictures, on Instagram or videos on YouTube, and they think that, oh, I want to look like that guy, I want to look like that girl.
Yeah.
But is it really so? First of all, does this person really look like this in real life?
Yeah.
And
that's the first thing.
that's the first question. Especially if you look at, pros, most of them, they never, post off-season pictures, because they mostly ashamed of what they look like. They have a high
they
standard.
have to maintain, but that's the thing, they have to maintain a certain brand, because pro bodybuilders or people that compete on stage, it's an image that you have to portray, which is the optimum, it's the best, because you're going on stage to be the best. It's not you're going on stage just to show that you're healthy and you're okay. You're going on stage to show that you're the best, so that every picture you're putting up, unless they're putting a before and after picture from start of prep to the end of prep to show that they're, again, the best, they're not showing the best. They're not showing the off-season, pictures or videos of how they are, because again, they're normal people. They have this. I tell people on stage, this is the peak performance. This is the peak. They're like this for a few days.
Even I would say even few hours in some cases.
Literally,
like just on show that.
Yeah, because the dryness, the definition, the veins, all of this is just peak. You get the perfect pictures. You get the stage. You get all of this. Maybe if you're going to do shows back to back, you relax just for a bit and then you push again. But definitely social media can, to be honest, I think it's more damaging for motivation than encouraging, because people see, if you follow a lot of Instagram people for fitness, you see a lot of people topless, a lot of people in, bikini, this, that, thinking, wow, these people look great. One, it could be Photoshop. Two, it could be editing, and, is it really all the time? It could be steroids. It could be all these factors that are damaging your goal. So if every day you're training, you're eating well, you're training with your coach, me or you, you're setting your goals, you have your short-term goal you're about to achieve, but then you look on Instagram, six-pack, bikini body, six-pack. You're going to, even if you achieve this short-term goal, it's not going to feel like a real achievement compared to every picture you see on social media.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you need to be really good at taking pictures as well, because I've seen some posts of people, who know what they look like in real life, and I've seen those pictures on Instagram, and I was like, what the hell, like, how did you even take this picture of you? Like, you don't even look like you. But if people, I mean, I think I used to be that kind of person. I would just feel, extremely discouraged, because I would just scroll down and see, impressive people, and I was like, wow, look at this person. And then I guess that's when I actually started to see how real people can look on Instagram, when I realized that, okay, but maybe they don't really, all look this good in real life. So maybe everyone can be on Instagram. Maybe I can be on Instagram too. And that's when I became a little bit more brave, and but it can be really damaging for motivation, because people might not understand, as you said, that those pictures are edited, photoshopped, and or taken on a stage, like on show day or close to the show.
Even if the person really looks like this from hard work, training, is good. Not declining anyone's good work.
Exactly.
But comparison to anyone, no matter what stage you're at, once you start comparing yourself to other people, it's hard for you to feel accomplished by your own small milestones that you make, and even your end goal, because you're going to constantly think, look at that guy, look at this girl, look at that guy, look at this girl.
Yeah.
So I feel like as trainers, yes, it's good to be proud and showcase what you can do in your body and your clients' bodies, but I feel like that shouldn't be the main focus. I feel like, you see on social media now, some people, they just go topless. They don't even have qualifications.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm a coach, I can help you. But they don't even have basic understanding on how to help different people with different needs. They just think every person needs to be push, 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 push. Some people, you need to take a different approach. Just because you have abs or just because you have a curvy shape, that doesn't mean that you know how to get every person to that. And maybe not everyone wants to get to that.
And you don't really know if this person really has, like abs or curvy shape, because the pictures might be fake. Like you don't even know who the person, behind those pictures is, because could be anyone just, promoting a brand. There's no way for you to know, because I could be posting fake pictures, like completely Photoshop. And even if I do one-on-one, coaching sessions with my client, on Zoom, you can't really see what I look like,
Yeah.
So there's no way for clients to realize that I'm not like that. Now, after saying this, everyone will unfollow me. But no, my pictures are my own. But no, but but that's true, because we live in a world where everyone seems to be. I mean, not everyone, but there are unfortunately a lot of people who might be easily influenced in the wrong way by social media. And I think it's always been the case, because people used to watch a lot of TV, and it was kind of the same. It's just that now it's a little bit more maybe approachable, because it's just one click.
It's in your pocket.
Yeah,
it's in your
exactly.
pocket. Like every second you can have something that's either going to help you or harm you. You could see every second something that's, okay, this person's making money, or this person's got a body, or this person lives there, or this person's relationship. All these things, even for the best of people, it's hard. It's hard because you're constantly seeing everyone's best, but you have to remind yourself, nobody's showing their bad time. No one's showing, when they're out of shape with their belly, or when, because everyone has it,
unless they want to show that that how they've improved, or
exactly.
No, yeah, that's true. And also, even like average people, they use a lot of filters, and also like they wear makeup, whether they girls or guys, like and, because they just want to look good. And what for then? Because I mean, is it for followers? Do you want to just get more followers? And again, what for? Like, what's the ultimate goal, at the end of the day? Because having more followers won't, automatically bring you any money or anything, unless you've got millions, So I don't really know why why there are so many people who spend so much time, even doing that. And I mean, common people, average people, and not talking about pros, which I understand.
Because there's a purpose. If you have a brand or something, there's a purpose. But each to their own, to be honest. And I think, what I feel like for me and you and other coaches, I feel like our goals, and my goal personally for the future, is to like reach more people and make more people understand their reasons why they want to train or want to improve their eating, why they should have SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time framed, why they should, try to think about lifestyle and changing it slowly over time, rather than letting myself allow people to just, jump into training for unhealthy reasons, or be trained by a coach for unhealthy reasons. Because there are some people, don't get me wrong, everybody wants to make money, but as a coach, you need to understand that you can't take advantage of people that are vulnerable, someone that's insecure, somebody that wants to change. And okay, I can see they want to do this. Oh, give me £500, I'll make you have a six-pack in 2 months. That's taking advantage of someone. You need to tell someone from the beginning, it's going to take work. If you really want this, you have to understand what this is going to involve. And then sometimes what I see is people reevaluate their long-term goal, because I tell them, look, what you want to achieve isn't going to be so easy. If you want to transform from, someone that's round this way, and you want to be completely chiseled, ripped, big biceps, trapped, if you can do it, it's going to take a long time,
Yeah.
a long time. It's going to take a lot of hard work. Are you willing to dedicate, you know, not drinking, eating this cake or whatever, because it's a different level of dedication.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, I want to long term. I want to reach more people as much as I can. So that with Instagram, I find it so good because you can share things and people can share it, and I love when people share it because it's like you get to see the things that are really important, like motivation and how you can set up your motivation in steps and how you can break it down, or how to train or eat properly and, you know, make small adjustments. So yeah, we could go on forever about social media and,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
and
I
these kind
know.
of things.
Yeah, no, but
Definitely.
it's good that you mentioned that Instagram is also good, because it's true. Like, it's not just evil.
Yeah.
I have to say that I found a lovely, like, an amazing community on Instagram, because back in, you know, in the days, I used to be like the only woman who trained the way I do. Like, you know, like I mean, I used to know friends, you know, like female friends
Yeah.
who, you know, went to the gym, but they, you know, that just because you go to the gym, that doesn't mean that you train. But
Yeah.
I mean, when I started training, my husband, you know, was the one who, you know, designed programs for me. And he's
Mhm.
obviously a guy, and he's always been into bodybuilding and
Yeah.
powerlifting. So the way I've always trained is that way, like
Yeah.
bodybuilding or powerlifting style, like kind of a
Mhm.
power
Mhm.
building, you know, kind of training,
Yeah.
like with a heavy
Yeah.
compound and then some more isolation movements.
Yeah.
And but I didn't know anyone in real life, you know, who trained that way. Like, I
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
knew
It's
guys, but
more
no
common now.
women. Now it's getting a little bit more common, but I think that, you know, thanks to Instagram, I found a lot of more, you know, people who train, like women, like strong women, like
No,
women.
that is true. That is very
Yeah,
true, because on social media you can see groups of women all over the world doing the same training as you. It's motivating. You can connect. I've seen groups
exactly. You
of
can
people
connect.
meeting
Yeah.
up, training. Because in the gym as a guy, I can go to really any gym, see a big guy, and if I want to speak to him and ask him advice, talk to me, he can spot me. You can motivate each other. As a woman, it's a bit intimidating for you to speak to any guy, because you don't, obviously the world we live in, you don't want to just speak to any random guy.
No,
And
exactly.
so
Yeah.
with that community that you can find on social media, is great because you can see that you're not the only one. You can all grow together, motivate each other. Because as a female, unless you're in a specific gym for that, it's hard to walk into a gym that you're dedicated. I've seen your page. You're training hard. You're doing a lot of resistance training, balanced with every other type of training. But to walk in the gym and expect to see 3-4 other women training like you, it's hard.
It's very rare. Yeah, it can
It's
be,
hard.
but especially commercial gyms, you don't really
Yeah.
find
Yeah. You don't really, yeah.
no, yeah, it's true. And but that doesn't mean, again, I mean, it's not to say that one kind of training is better or worse. It's
Yeah.
just that I feel more connected with, you
Mhm.
know, other women. And there are like more people other than my husband, my brother-in-law, I can speak to.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
like, you know,
Exactly.
it used to be just like just a small group. Now I feel
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
a bigger community, which is great. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's not just pure evil. I mean, it can be evil if you compare yourself with other people, but it can also be good if you find your tribe, if you find your own
Yeah.
community. And I think
Yeah.
it's all just about finding the right people with, you know, who share your same mindset and lifestyle. And yeah, maybe that's what, you know, what it's all about. And yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I love this conversation.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to add? Something that we
Um,
didn't cover?
I think no, really, to be honest, we've spoken about pretty much the cusp of kind of like what I believe in. Really, it's it's more about think about your lifestyle as a whole project. Just try to make small adjustments over time, and eventually the project will develop into that final piece that you're ready to just say, you know, I'm happy with how things are. You can maintain it. You know, unless you have a specific fitness or nutritional goal that you want to smash, just take it easy. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't compare yourself with everyone that's on social media. And if you need to, just remove those things, remove that, reduce the time you spend on social media, reduce the time or people you follow on there, kind of thing. And just, yeah, just look for what you want to do, why you want to achieve it, like a fine you know, a defined reason why you want to achieve this thing. And then just research. If you're new to training, research, okay, what is the best thing, or what are the most, you know, generalized good things for what I'm trying to achieve. Take your own time to research online, speak to coaches, go to different gyms, speak to people that do what you're thinking of doing, and get a better understanding, and, you know, learn about things compared to just, okay, I need to lose weight, let me go train like a bodybuilder. Not everybody needs to train, you know, flies and bicep curls and, you know, these kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think
That's a very good point that you just raised, because in the podcast I did with Tanto Isiano, we had a similar conversation towards the end, and was on the specificity of training, not just for performance, as you obviously might, you know, think, but just for your own being. If you really want to become the person, you know, you are, you have to train for your own self. You have to find what really can be applied to your own individuality. And I really believe that fitness should be incorporated in everyone's self-actualization, because I think it should be part of every
it should be,
lifestyle.
definitely. I feel like it should be, definitely. I think in China, it's part of their lifestyle. Like, even in workplaces, companies, they have dedicated time where they exercise. They have space for it, whether they go to the roof or they go outside. They may go outside and do Tai Chi. They may go outside and do stretching. They may go and do exercise. In schools, it's part of the lifestyle. So these kind of places, you see, they have older people that are very fit, you know, healthy, flexible, strong, because it's not just, I need to train so I can look good on the beach, or I need to train so I can be sexy, or I need to train because my doctor said so. This is part of life, like brushing your teeth. You need to, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I love this metaphor again that you said when you spoke about maintenance. It's the same kind of thing. It's part of a routine. I eat. Why do I eat? I eat because I need to be alive. I sleep. Why do I sleep? I sleep because I need to be alive.
You need to rest, exactly.
Exactly. But again, to maintain my vital function.
Your health, exactly.
And I train because, again, training is important. It regulates hormones and neurotransmitters. I mean, we should do another podcast on this topic, but like, you know, training has got a huge impact on health, and people should,
in more ways than people even realize. Definitely.
Yes, exactly. And it should become more important in people's lives. Same as nutrition. They should understand that you can't. I mean, you have to take it seriously. You can't really mess with your health the same way as you brush your teeth, or I don't know, or make sure you sleep an X amount of hours, or you eat. You should also pay attention to what you eat and to how you train, and you should make sure that you always train. I love this point. And
no, definitely.
So once again, where can people find you? So you're
you can find me on Instagram, Fit by Roll, with an underscore at the end, or on YouTube, Fit by Roll. I'm going to be releasing some videos on there about, again, taking away people's ideas about, you know, certain myths and, you know, trends that they like to follow, educate people on how to train and, you know, eat correctly, some exercise examples, similar to what I do on Instagram, just a bit more depth, because on YouTube, you can have longer videos and people have more attention on YouTube compared to Instagram. Is quite quick, so you have to keep it short.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, last 3 questions that I always ask everyone. So last book you read, last meal you ate, and last body part you trained.
Okay, last book I read completely was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Okay. Sounds like a good one. Yeah.
It's a good book. So basically it's about mindset. It's more focused on, it has different chapters of different type of personalities and strategies, but the whole book essentially is about not caring about the outside world, not overthinking things in your own mind, not, you know, having too much sympathy on yourself to the point where you don't take action. These kind of things where, you know, it would relate to so many aspects of your life, whether it's training, work, relationship, family. So it's more, it covers, you know, compassion. It covers, you know, self, you know, awareness. It covers, taking responsibility of your own actions mainly. Instead of blaming externally, it's more about accepting how things are, those kind of things. So it's quite good. What was the second question?
Last meal you ate.
Last meal I ate, I had from Muscle Foods. I got my delivery today from Muscle Food. I had a selection of food. The first one I had was a fajita bowl. It was good.
That's good.
I wanted to have something.
Yeah.
I wanted to have something that if I'm really busy and I don't have time to cook, I can just heat up and think. To be honest, now that things are still kind of like not locked down, but I have the time to cook and everything.
Yes, yeah.
I still will. But if I don't have the time, just pick one up, put it in the microwave. It's ready, and I know the calories and the macros are going to be there tracked. So
yeah,
when I want to track, I want it to be good. So that was
that's of course makes sense. Yeah.
And the last body part I trained. Well, today I trained upper body. Yesterday was legs. So that was the last body part. But today was a general upper body session. 4th day back in the gym today. And I tell you, my body is in pain. I was touching my traps a couple of times. It's hurting, definitely.
Yeah.
But being back in the gym. I don't know, how do you feel about being back in the gym?
I haven't gone yet. I was waiting. So I took this week off. I'm still training at home because I wanted to see if it gets busy. So first of all, I can train home. So if it gets really busy, I would rather, allow
home,
so that someone else can go, instead of me. People who can't train at home because they live in smaller flats or don't have any equipment. But because I mean, from what I've seen so far, it seems to be a little bit quiet. I mean,
the gyms are very quiet, to be honest.
So I think I'm going back either on Monday or Tuesday, at least to try. But I don't know. I mean,
be prepared. It's gonna feel strange. Like I was so excited to go back, but again, I was like, wait, I haven't been in the gym for like 4 months. It feels strange, but you're gonna get back to it slowly. But definitely just take it easy when you go back. The gym are quiet.
No, I think the I don't know what scares me is the idea of wearing my mask and maybe make sure to train in a certain area, because I'm very messy. Usually I've got like my my water, my phone, I've got a lot of straps and my
your straps, your bands,
everything, and my clips, because sometimes clips are taken, so I use my own, like the springs at the end. So I'm usually messy, and I know that I can't be that way because I have to make space.
I think it depends on what gym you go to, but at the moment the gyms, like for example the gym groups, the space is the space is quite good. They've laid things out nicely, but unfortunately there's some people that are just kind of acting as if there's no situation. You can be training and someone's instead of going round, they're just like right next to you, and it's like, mate,
you can't do that.
But as long as you just be aware and just watch out. It's like when you're driving, even though you need to be safe, you need to watch for other people if they're being safe and just act accordingly, really.
But I think this is this lockdown kind of general mindset, because that's what I've been doing throughout. You have to make sure you keep social distancing with people, so that you kind of develop this third eye or this like extra attention. So maybe but I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going back on Monday, because I really look forward to going back. I've been dreaming of bench pressing and deadlifting, like things that I can't do.
Instead of the elastic bands, lifting is good, it's all right, but trust me, when I was deadlifting the other day and I was squatting, it felt hard, but it just felt good to have the bar on my back. And just squeezing my traps, and just everything was just perfect.
It's just and also I think I'm gonna be a little bit maybe disappointed with I know I won't be able to lift as heavy, but I mean, I don't know, I'm ready for that. Like I'm not I'm not trying to train my ego. I'm just trying to go back. And so I know that it won't be that easy, especially I'm already scared about leg day, because that's quite heavy compared to home trainings, but I'm also kind of excited. And I mean, I don't know, I think because there might be a second wave in 2 or 3 months.
Mm.
So my plan is
Just
to,
need to be careful. Like for me, I'm wearing gloves when I'm training, trying to use a mask when I can. When I'm running, it's hard. Like if I'm
yeah,
running on the treadmill, you can't really run with that because
no.
it's too restrictive. But the good thing about the running is that the treadmills, every other one is skipped, so there's no one right next to you. So you have that, and I'm just cleaning things before I use it and after I use it. And what I'm doing is go at a time that's not too busy. So go really early or maybe really late.
Yeah,
So
that's a good, that's actually a very good hack, because that will sure prevent you from I mean
being around too many people.
yeah, too many people.
Mm.
And for
Yeah.
running, I mean, I don't run that much. I might go, like, I might jog when I get the chance, but usually I prefer outdoor.
Yeah.
What I used to do in the gym, I used to climb so I used to walk on the incline, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And but again, I don't want to keep my mask on, so
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll go back to it.
Yeah. To
'Cause
be honest, a cardio outside is probably better.
yes,
Cardio
I
outside,
think
you just
so.
go to the gym, keep it quick, you train, and then
And
out.
it feels better,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
being outdoor just feels better than
Yeah.
the problem is that the weather has been awful this entire month, so I
Yeah.
haven't gone.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
coming. It's on and off. Like today was really sunny. It's on and off. I know tomorrow is going to be sunny again. Well, I think so
yeah,
anyway.
I don't
But
know. Today was lovely, but yeah, but the
yeah.
problem is you can't make any plans because it's been so unstable. Like even on the same
It's
day.
not. We know it's not Italy. You know, Italy is sunny
I
most of the
know, I
time.
know. No, no, I know, but I've lived in this country, for long enough to
Yeah.
know this. And no, I mean, I can't complain because we've had a really good spring,
Hmm.
and just July hasn't been that great. But
Yeah. July was a bit hit and miss.
yeah, but again, I mean, if if we're gonna get more days like today,
Yeah.
to till the end of the summer, I'll be super happy.
I
So
think August should be all right. I think we get an okay summer in August. August is cool for us, so
hopefully,
should
yeah,
be all right.
yeah,
Should
I
be
hope
good.
so. Yeah. And then whenever I get the chance, I think I'll book flights for like a tropical country, or maybe yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm not
yeah.
rushing, but I can't wait. The next holiday I'm gonna take every second like it's gold. Every single second like it's gold.
Me too,
Honestly.
like after this year, yes, because we usually, we used to go to Italy every summer, like
Yeah.
every in July for a couple of weeks, and that used to be enough to
Yeah.
recharge our battery completely. But now,
Yeah.
obviously, we didn't go this
You
year,
missed a
so
year. Yeah.
it's just because we grew up by the seaside, so
Mhm.
that's the
Different lifestyle. It's a different lifestyle.
just those 2 weeks on the beach, they make the full
Big
difference.
difference,
Yeah,
exactly.
but it is what it is, so that's
But
fine.
yeah, no, hopefully soon. Hopefully it will be not too
Yeah,
long.
no,
Not too
exactly,
long.
maybe, yes,
Yeah.
hopefully. So thank you so much for joining me
No
today
problem,
again.
no problem. Thank you for having me. I love the conversation. Definitely would like to do it again. Love it.
Yeah, definitely, I would love to.